got like some one of sort of War and Peace in here.
It's got one of main deck timely reinforcements.
He's also got a main deck Gather the Townsfolk.
Yeah.
So
really strong in his deck.
Interesting choices, and I did a deck tech with him. So if you haven't seen that yet, it may be available on the site on StarCityGames.com to watch at your leisure, or it's also airing in between some matches here.
Yeah, Harry's deck is also very interesting. Playing a Delver deck that has 4 Geist of St. Traff in the main deck and a Phyrexian Metamorph. No Phantasmal images, and he has a main deck Metamorph. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, sort of a more classic blue-white Delver, but still that's kind of interesting. No Phantasmal image.
And so 4 Geist, really strange.
Yeah.
Especially in this era of Standard.
Yeah, it seems like people are more prepared for Geist, but still a good card when they don't draw the cards that are meant to keep them.
And Gerry doesn't have any images, man, either.
Safe. So, yeah, exactly. It's actually pretty cool how Harry's actually benefiting from the fact that Gerry moved his images into the board. So Harry did have the turn 1 Delver. Gerry has the turn 1 Probe into Ponder.
This is turn 2, I believe.
Oh, okay. So, I'm sorry. Yeah. So Gerry had Gerry was on the play.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And we saw Harry's. We've got Gerry and Harry, so I'm mixing them together. We saw Harry's hand, and he had double Geist in there. He had some Thought Scours, or at least a Thought Scour.
And he flipped that Delver on turn 2. Again, people have been flipping those Delvers on turn 2 very often, and Harry's not even playing 20 instants and sorceries, so he's a less than 1 in 3 chance of doing that.
Wow, yeah.
Turn 1. But it doesn't matter much when you do it anyway.
Yeah, you do it. Yeah, that's another thing Gerry said was the Gather the Townsfolk actually kind of helps him. It helps Gerry flip the Delver, where Drogskull Captain would not. Just one more sorcery.
Yeah, I mean Gerry's deck has a significantly larger amount of instants and sorceries than we're used to seeing in Delver decks. So that turn 2 flip Delver, the thing that's so scary for so many people, that's going to happen a lot more often to Gerry's opponents than it will to Harry's opponents, or than it will to just about to anybody's opponent who's playing Delver, because Gerry just has a ton of instants and sorceries in his deck.
Alright, so trying to get a look at Gerry's hand. He showed it to us for a second. Alright. Gerry cracks the Evolving Wilds. Almost called a Terramorphic Expanse. I mean,
it's the same thing.
It's pretty much the same card. Different name, that's it.
Just a better name.
Yeah, and also legal in Standard.
Right.
Finds a swamp and has a Dark Six Shores and a Blade Splicer.
And Harry still winning this race.
End of turn Thought Scour, mills double Seachrome Coast. Draws Geist of St. Traft, I believe.
It doesn't look like he has a white source though.
Yeah, he just milled 2 of them, so.
Draws
I think that was a Moorland Haunt, yeah.
Not what he's looking for here. He does, however, have a Vapor Snag for this Golem. Use that while Gerry's tapped out. Gerry will drop to 14 from that Vapor Snag. Then Harry's going to get cracked for 3 and put Gerry all the way down to 11. And, Gerry's on his heels.
And Invisible Stalker for Harry.
Yeah, and that's really good, because now that forces Gerry to, come out of his shell of playing this control game and to actually try to, battle for real. Gerry's going to at least get a crack for one with this Blade Splicer, but you know, that's not much of a block. Gerry wisely paying mana for this Gitaxian Probe. Sees that his opponent does have a second Vapor Snag, but the rest of his spells are white cards, and he has no white mana available to him.
And a Vapor Snag of his own for the Delver.
Yeah.
So Harry's Delver back in his hand. Gerry gathering the townsfolk here. And
now Harry needs to draw a white source here. That'd be really nice.
don't think he did.
Right. Does not. I think that is a cantrip though, so he can go hunting for one.
Yeah. I think does he have triple Geist in his hand, I'm pretty sure? I think he's got 3 Geists.
Yeah, I think he has all 3.
That is ridiculous.
Gerry's at 11, just to confirm that. I'm just watching.
Alright, Probe draws him a card, but I didn't, yeah, no, it's, what is that, Snapcaster Mage, I think? So he can Snapcaster Vapor Snag if he wants, but it's pretty good. I believe Snapcaster is what he drew. I didn't get a good look, but I think I saw the you know, the Arm Blaster, which is about the easiest thing to see on the card.
Yeah. Tiago-chan is Mega Man. Alright, Gerry going down to 10 here from an attack from that Stalker. Harry simply plays his Delver again, and he's passing the turn back to Gerry. Gerry's going to play an Intangible Virtue. Increases damage output for this turn. He has a...
So Harry Vapor Snags one of the tokens, and we've got Blade Splicer and a Townsfolk coming in for 3.
There's a Gerry now at 9 from that Vapor Snag. Harry is taking this 3, will fall to 11. And he does. Gerry still has Snapcaster Vapor Snag in hand.
And Delver appears to be flipping. Gerry casting a Snapcaster of his own.
Yeah, wisely seeing that Harry is going to be flipping up a, I believe it's a Mana Leak, decides that...
What's that?
What is
Oh,
it?
Mana Leak was
it
what,
was a
flipped
Ponder.
it? Oh,
Okay.
Ponder, okay.
Yeah.
And the Delver gets Vapor Snagged.
That makes sense. By doing it during his opponent's upkeep, instead of his opponent's turn, he not only got to see whether or not the Delver was going to flip, but his opponent's also going to have to commit mana that turn to dealing with the thing, instead of, you know, giving your opponent an opportunity to Mana Leak on your own turn and then giving him access to all of his lands the next one.
Yeah. Alright, Invisible Stalker in for 1.
Yeah, Gerry down to 8 now for this Invisible Stalker.
Harry still can't find a white source, it seems. And the last 2 games we've had on coverage, the player in that seat has been cursed with not finding a white source.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I
You need
mean,
to warn people to sit on the right side of the table.
yeah, or not to sit on the right side of the table. And we have a Ponder. Now the Ponder should hopefully hit a white source. I believe it did. I think I saw a Seachrome Coast.
Seachrome Coast, so it comes in a play tap.
Yeah, but it's there. At least he has it. I think that's what he's thinking too.
Oh no, it's a Glacial Fortress.
Oh, is it? Okay, even better.
Yeah. That makes a pretty
Gerry
significant
tapped out
difference.
here. Harry can resolve a Geist of St. Traft. Yeah, Glacial Fortress. Okay. Good, now we have something of a game.
It's still very rough for Harry. Harry did have a good draw. You know, you don't necessarily need white mana when you're playing this deck a lot of the time. The fact that he redrew into third Geist, it's unfortunate for him, but he did keep a hand with 2 Geists and no white source, so You know, this is one of the dangers of playing with 4 Geist in your deck, is they can get stranded in your hand.
So he goes with Snapcaster Vapor Snag on the token, the lone remaining token there. So knocking Gerry to 7 and providing himself an additional blocker. Well, a blocker really, since the Invisible Stalker has was sent into the red zone. All right, so Gerry swinging with the Blade Splicer and Snapcaster Mage. Harry can trade Snapcasters here if he wants, and he does.
Higher roll at a 9 here. Gerry's still at 7.
I believe that's a Delver. Does say Delver up top in Sharpie. And a second intangible virtue from Gerry.
Yeah,
no tokens, but as soon as he has any, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, if he draws a Lingering Souls, that's 12 points of flying power. 12.
Yeah. Harry knocks Gerry to 6 with the Invisible Stalker. And now Geist of St. Traff and Delver of Secrets join Harry's side of the board. And Gerry with draw go does not flip his Delver. Harry will not flip his Delver, but adds a Moorland Haunt to the board, second one. So we've got 2 unflipped Delvers, 1 on each side of the board. Harry in with, looks like he's declaring attacks here, trying to decide whether or not to attack with that Delver. Looks like he's going to, but alright, so in the red zone we have Delver of Secrets, Angel, Geist of St. Traff, Invisible Stalker, and everything's getting scooped up because Harry is taking that game. So
yeah, interesting. You know, every game we've seen played by Gerry's deck, we watched Ben Hayes play before, we see Gerry play a little bit. The intangible virtues have been, you know, pretty bad.
Yeah.
They've not worked out very well for him. It's an interesting choice. Maybe it did well in testing, but maybe it wasn't testing enough. But it's not seeming like it's gone well for him. It's
also odd. I mean, when you basically you know, you have them and just no tokens, they just don't do anything.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is, you know, if you're going to play Anthem effects, you really have to make them work with a lot of your deck. Otherwise, they just end up being dead draws. And, you know, you're playing a ton of cantrips, so you can more reliably find them. But at the same time, you know, when you don't find a Lingering Souls, like, he didn't play a Lingering Souls that game.
Right.
And if you don't play a Lingering Souls, those intangible virtues are really bad.
Yeah, he played Blade Splicer and Gather the Townsfolk, and that was his only. Those were his only sources of tokens in that game. He's got a
not very impressive. Those 2 cards when you're only casting 1 Gather the Townsfolk and 1 Blade Splicer.
He's got the Timely Reinforcements main, but he didn't see that as that either. So none of his Lingering Souls, nor Timely Reinforcements, nor even a second Blade Splicer of the 3 he's got, because that would have at that point produced a 5/5 Vigilant token, a 5/5 Vigilant First Strike token. For sideboards here, Gerry's got access to another Timely Reinforcements. He's also got the Phantasmal Images, which I imagine he'll bring in, seeing the 4 Geists of St. Traff.
Yeah, and I mean, he's certainly bringing in a Sword of War piece. He can go up to 2 copies of that. It's going to be very good here.
He could even potentially add a Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. You know,
I don't think it's very good here, though. It's Sorin's really good against like the blue-black decks or the other Planeswalker decks, but in this type of matchup, it's something too slow, and you know, you're tapping on turn 4.
Okay.
And both players have probes, so a lot of the time they know it's coming, so they can really set you up to just, you know, lose like a ton of tempo because you're just casting this 4-mana sorcery speed thing. It's, you know, some people like the sideboarding cards like that in this matchup, but you know, it's generally accepted that that's not really what you're trying to do in the mirror. I've seen some people assign him Jace Memory Adept in the Delver Mirror. It just
Yeah.
seems a little crazy.
I mean, Gerry can do that here, but I don't think that's what it's for. I think it's more for the control matchup. Check out, let's see Harry's sideboard.
All right, so Harry in his sideboard has Corrosive Gale, which is going to be really good against Gerry. He saw those intangible virtues, so he's definitely going to assume that Gerry's on Lingering Souls, and he's going to bring in that Corrosive Gale.
It's just a one of,
Yeah.
but he does have it.
He does have it. He has Revoke Existence, which is definitely coming in. He has 2 Timely Reinforcements. He has a pair of Phantasmal Images as well. And in the Delver Mirror, you generally bring in Phantasmal Image. It's really good for a lot of different reasons, like just making a 3/2 flyer is pretty good. Copying a Snapcaster Mage when you have a Probe in your graveyard or Ponder in your graveyard. Just getting more Silvergill Adepts, always a strong play. You can outcard your opponent. Like, every opportunity you get to just like Snapcaster and Ponder, Snapcaster to Taxian Probe, those are things that just kind of like take a game over. And a lot of people are very careful with their Snapcaster Mages, but more and more we've seen good players just jam Snapcaster Mage and get a Taxian Probe out of their graveyard on turn 2.
Yeah, I feel like, from my experience playing with Delver, Gitaxian Probe, it's so much more impressive than I expected.
Yeah, and also knowing your opponent's hand, it really allows you to like craft a game plan.
Yeah.
And play around what's in their hand. Your mana leaks gain a lot of value when you know when you have to leave your mana untapped. That's kind of the limiting factor on a card like Mana Leak or a card like Negate, is that you have to leave open 2 mana instead of tapping out. And if this happens to be the turn where your opponent hiccups and doesn't cast a spell, well then you just didn't cast your spell and you kind of wasted a turn.
So speak of the devil, Gerry resolving a turn 1 2-life version of Gitaxian Probe. And we've got, looks like Geist of St. Traft, is that Phyrexian Metamorph, Ponder, Moorland Haunt, Glacial Fortress, and Seachrome Coast. Yeah, that is Phyrexian Metamorph.
Yeah, so, Harry's kind of interesting decision here of whether or not to play Seachrome or Glacial Fortress on turn 1. If he plays the Seachrome Coast on turn 1, he's going to be able to Ponder turn 1. And that's probably fine, because the next turn he can just play Glacial Fortress tapped, and if he gets a 1-drop off the top, he can even flip a Delver. But if he plays the Glacial Fortress tapped, then he's guaranteeing himself an opportunity to play Geist on turn 3, which otherwise he would not be guaranteed to do. But
he just drew a Gitaxian Probe because that wasn't in his hand a second ago.
And he wisely Gitaxian Probes before he makes his play, because what he hits here could change whether or not it's correct to play Seachrome Coast and or Glacial Fortress.
So Gerry looks like he's got another Gitaxian Probe, a Ponder, a Timely Reinforcements, Intangible Virtue, Blade Splicer, and Seachrome Coast. So Seachrome Coast probably gonna show up for Gerry. So next turn, depending on what he draws. But there's a Seachrome Coast and a Ponder for Harry.
All right, so he does choose to go to the Seachrome Coast on turn 1. Let's see what he hits.
I see Lingering Souls there. I'm sorry. It's not Lingering Souls. Thought it was, but Harry's not playing Lingering Souls.
Perhaps I think it's a Timely Reinforcements.
Okay. They look pretty
Harry's
similar.
going to go ahead and choose to shuffle his library. Gerry turn 2. Probably using this opportunity to have Intangible Virtue on the table.
Yeah. Drew another Seachrome Coast. And so both players with double Seachrome Coast. Although Gerry hasn't played his second one yet. Harry just passes back, so Gerry untaps, probably plays Seachrome Coast here.
And now another Timely Reinforcement sometime for Gerry. He's going to Gitaxian Probe and see what Harry's packing.
Yeah. So again, we've got Geist, Ponder, Phyrexian Metamorph, looks like Island, Glacial Fortress, and Moorland Haunt.
Interesting that Harry did not choose the Ponder last turn. Try to get himself into a Delver in an instant.
Yeah, is he trying to represent Mana Leak, I guess, or, bluff a Mana Leak, maybe. But I think we're going to see a Blade Splicer here. And we are. And that is a 4/4 Vigilant First Strike Golem. Or Golem.
Very impressive dude.
Yeah.
Blade Splicer is a great card.
Geist of St. Traft for Harry. Taps out. Gerry is pondering. Sees Glacial Fortress, Snapcaster Mage, Gitaxian Probe.
Probably keeping these.
Draws the Fortress. Fortress going to come into play tapped here. He did, I believe, attack there with the Golem. It was just such a... It was 4/4 Vigilant. He kind of said, he tapped it like, yeah, I don't mean tapped it, but I turned it sideways. He just kind of tapped the card and was like, yeah, I'm attacking you. Also, passed the turn back. So Harry just took 4 from the Golem. I believe he did anyway. I believe Harry should be at 14 here. Ponder from Harry. And Manaleek from Gerry.
I like that play from Gerry. He knows that Harry has another Geist Runner in his hand. He knows that Harry doesn't have a counterspell of his own. He just, by making that play, he makes sure that, Harry's just in an awkward spot where he has to make some play in order to not just get run over by this Golem, and that's a play. It's a good play.
Yeah, Phantasmal Image, copying Blade Splicer.
Yeah, now that's actually very good for Gerry, that Phantasmal Image copying Blade Splicer, because now Gerry can use his timely reinforcements for full value. Or not for full value, but for 3 tokens, which are all going to be 2/2 Vigilance guys. And that's pretty good.
So Harry did not attack with his Geist. Makes sense. And there's the timely reinforcements. So Gerry getting something of a spectral procession there. Not flyers, but 3 guys. If it resolves, and I believe it is resolving. So, and Golem into the red zone, gets chumped by the Blade Splicer. I think they're waiting on some soldier tokens. Soldier. Nope. Hopefully they get some more actual soldier tokens.
And Gerry, producing 6 points of power off the timely reinforcements. Very dangerous thing for your opponent.
He follows that up with a Thought Scour milling, well, didn't quite see exactly what he milled. I believe it was a Morlenhorn and something else, but I could be wrong. Passes back to Harry. Harry plays a Phyrexian Metamorph, copying Blade Splicer.
And once again, this is going to allow Gerry to get timely reinforcements for 3 more dudes. And, those golems are a problem, but, if Gerry can assemble some combination of Vapor Snag and Snapcaster Mage, then he's absolutely fine in that regard. Ooh, and it's a Lingering Souls. That's going to be huge here. 8 points of flying power. It's definitely something to be reckoned with.
Yeah, Lingering Souls, flashback Lingering Souls. It is not looking good for Harry at this point. Alright, so Harry plays a Moreland Haunt and taps 2, and we have a Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster, flashing back Ponder. Takes a look, hides it from us. I think I see Runechanter's Pike, possibly a Glacial Fortress, and something else there.
I think that's a Phantasmal image.
That's what I was thinking too. Not totally sure, but it looks image-esque. I think it is. That's definitely a Glacial Fortress. So Glacial Fortress, Runechanter's Pike, and something we believe to be Phantasmal image. And he is pondering that ponder. Alright, keeps it, draws a card, keeps the Glacial Fortress. Passes back.
Seems fine.
Yeah, we've got kind of a stalemate, although I feel like Gerry's got the upper hand here.
The fact that Gerry has Vigilance on so many guys.
Vigilance on a bunch of flyers. Like, Harry has no flyers.
Yeah, Harry's going to need to...
He can produce flyers with Moorland Haunt one at a time. Gerry's already got 4 times as many flyers, and they're twice as big. And Vigilance.
Yeah, Gerry's in a really good spot at this point.
Kind of surprised Gerry didn't attack with the flyers. They're vigilant.
I think he did.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I guess that's why, because they're vigilant, we couldn't tell.
It's strange with the intangible virtue in play.
Uh-huh. All right, so it looks like the Golem is blocking Geist of St. Traft. Angel, I believe, is connecting. Gerry fine with taking 4 there, rather than lose one of his spirits. I mean, he could have blocked with one of the spirits, but I think it was his life total's high enough that it's not so scary. You just take 4. So Harry now resolves Runechanter's Pike, equips his spirit. Not sure how big that Pike is making the spirit, but I believe it may not be very much, because I think we've just seen like a couple of ponders and one was flashed back, so it may only be like a +2/+0 thing, yeah. And so Harry Gerry takes that game, so we're going to game 3 here.
Yeah, we've got a match. Harry
Certainly
does
do.
get to be on the play here, and as we've seen throughout this tournament, winning the die roll when you're playing the Delver deck is extremely important.
Yeah.
All right, so for sideboarding in game 3, it looks like Harry's plan on the play is going to be very similar to that on the draw. Harry did bring in Timely Reinforcements. I'm not sure if he brought in both. He probably will have both, at least on the play, or rather on the draw, if not on the play. If Harry did not have the Corrosive Gale for some reason, I mean, he didn't see Lingering Souls in game 1, but he saw Intangible Virtue, so one would assume that he had brought in Corrosive Gale, but you never know. He definitely would bring that in.
So we had Brad Nelson versus Gerry Thompson earlier in actually round 1 today, and we talked all about Brad Nelson. He had his stats up. We didn't get to talk about Gerry. Here's Gerry Thompson's stats. Man, I think this is a 2-page kind of thing. We had to shrink it. Yeah, font size 8. Gerry, several top 8s and top 4 in Grand Prix, all the way back as far as 2003 there. Grand Prix Atlanta finalist, winner of Grand Prix Denver 2008 with Quick and Toast. Oh my gosh, that's a deck name that I had forgotten about. Quick and
man,
Toast.
that's the best name ever.
Yeah, it's just like, what does that mean? That was just 5-color control.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more on this stat sheet we don't see, right? We don't have any of the 2011 stuff.
He's done a lot of stuff.
Dominated the SCG circuit last year.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, there's some
second
more.
page. Yeah, Jesse wasn't kidding when he said it was 2 pages. So
also, I'd like to point something out. Winner, Pittsburgh Standard Open 2011. Winner, Pittsburgh Legacy Open 2011. You know how weird that is when you show up to a weekend and there are 2 big tournaments for thousands of dollars, and the same dude wins both tournaments?
Yeah, that was that.
Gerry
was
goes to a lot of
awesome.
tournaments, and he is better than everybody else, so it's bound to happen eventually.
That was a sick weekend, you know. Then he won in Orlando. I'm sorry, he came in. He was in the finals in Orlando, and I remember that event. He played that Landstill deck. I think AJ also played it. I believe Drew may have played it as well. And that was kind of that was the breakout tournament for Mental Misstep. Mental Misstep shows up. They realize the format is gonna slow down, and blue-white Landstill becomes kind of a staple of the metagame, and then eventually a Standstill was replaced by Ancestral Visions.
Which seems to make sense. Standstill is always one of those cards that, sometimes it's really good, but there are a lot of draws where you just can't cast it. And in Legacy, all of your cards are so important.
Yeah. So, super impressive stats by Gerry.
And Gerry, I think, may be the most deserving player to not top 8 a Pro Tour ever.
Huh. I can't think of an argument for that. Argument against that,
The only other player who I think who'll make the argument for is Owen.
Okay.
And that's another excellent argument. I mean, Owen's obviously a master, reigning Player of the Year. Made Player of the Year without top 8ing a Pro Tour. I'm sure he would have rather not been the first person ever to do that, but...
So it looks like Harry's mulliganing. Bring up those stats again. I don't want to watch them mulligan. I want to look at some more stats. Unfortunately, we don't have some stats for Harry, but if we did, we'd put those up. So at the Invitational, top 8 of the last Invitational, with the that 5-color control concoction in Standard that Michael Jacob also played, and
yeah, that deck was sweet.
That was a lot of fun. We were doing the commentary for that event, and that was a blast just watching that deck.
And watching what that deck did.
Yeah.
That thing was crazy.
And then you see, look at all the Call Blades there. So he's got top 4 in Boston. He's got Dark Blade there in Memphis, top 8. Then Pittsburgh wins with Call Blade. Then Dark Blade again in Los Angeles. Dark Blade in Dallas. I mean, obviously the deck was good, and it was very good to the pilots that learned the ins and outs of it. So
yeah, they gave it its due.
Yeah. So Gerry, turn 1 Gitaxian Probe.
He's a pretty good hand from Harry.
Yeah.
Harry keeps a 6-card hand where he has Invisible Stalker, Mana Leak,
Phantasmal Image,
Snapcaster,
and Island. Yeah.
As far as 6-card hands go,
pretty good. Yeah, no turn 1 Delver, but the rest of the cards are pretty good. So Gerry looks like he's trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do here after that probe. I see another probe in Gerry's hand. And he draws a Delver, and turn 1 Delver. Yeah, see, that's what happens to me all the time. Draw a Delver off of Gitaxian Probe, a Delver that I didn't have, which is great,
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's nice. It's happened to me a lot. He probed actually twice just to draw another card. So Harry now with his own probe, and we've got Sword of War and Peace, Intangible Virtue,
Steel Sabotage.
Blade Splicer, Snapcaster, Island.
Steel Sabotage is a pretty sweet card. It's a card that I've played it in Modern.
No white sources in Gerry's hand.
And we've seen that be a problem for these Delver decks throughout the day. One thing that's really nice about Gerry's deck, Gerry doesn't have a single Moorland Haunt in his deck, so he's significantly less likely to have these mana problems we've been seeing Delver have.
Yeah. Let's see Gerry's list here.
It's funny, he went that route and gained a lot of consistency, and then went the Intangible Virtue route and gave it all back.
Yeah. All right, so that's Island and
finds a white source.
Yeah, Snapcaster on the Gitaxian Probe finds him a white source.
And that's exactly what we were talking about before. Is just Snapcastering those Gitaxian Probes, making Silvergill Adepts really, really good in these blue mirrors.
And it's an extra little bit of pressure. I mean, Snapcaster, the cool thing is it sticks around to do some work.
Gerry not offering the trade with that Delver. And to be honest, there's really no reason to.
No, I mean, I'd rather have a Delver with the potential of flipping than an Invisible Stalker. So if Gerry attacked, I'd snap block with the Invisible Stalker.
Yeah, another thing that's nice about Snapcaster Mage when you're fighting a Geist is that you can leave the Snapcaster Mage back, and they really can't attack with the Geist unless you're at an extremely low life total, or they have another Geist. Because Vapor Snag, returning a Geist back to somebody's hand, is not the thing you want to be doing most of the time.
Yeah, so Harry resolves Geist of Saint-Traft here. And Gerry, with a Glacial Fortress, he can go Glacial Fortress Blade Splicer. He can go...
you can also make a sword.
Sword of War and Peace. He can, I believe
Blade
he has
Splicer,
Phantasmal. Does he have
reasonable
Phantasmal
play
image in his hand? I think I may have seen one. That deals with the Geist pretty well. Somebody just cheered. I don't know what for. Oh, there's another one.
All right, Nick Spagnuolo is in the top 8 of the tournament.
Oh, is that what those that cheering
it wasn't
was?
Nick yelling. It was
someone
Nick's
talking
friends
to Nick.
yelling.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, lots of hugs over there happening.
Lots of hugs being given out. It's
very cool. Very cool.
Exciting stuff for him.
I'm excited for Nick. So, Sword of War and Peace is what Gerry decided on and passes back.
And this is just what I was talking about. I mean, the
he
way
doesn't
these
want to attack with the Geist.
Yeah, the way these Delver decks, clear the path is with Vapor Snag and with Snapcaster Vapor Snag, and just doing that and gaining that tempo advantage. You just can run over a green deck when you have an optimal draw. But when you're playing against the Mirror and they just put a Snapcaster Mage in the way of a Geist, it's pretty difficult, especially nowadays because people aren't playing Gutshot anymore, and that used to be what you would do in this spot. And back then people, again, like Harry's playing a deck that kind of existed in an old world of Delver.
There's a Snapcaster on a probe for Harry.
Silver
Gill Adept of his own.
Gerry's hand, which is a Snapcaster, Phantasmal Image, and an Intangible Virtue.
Lay it on the table for us, guys.
I would love to see that hand.
Yeah.
Sweet, sweet hand.
Gerry knows how this works. Gerry, lay it on the table for us. Oh, come on, Gerry.
Gerry. Yeah, but it's unfortunate for Harry that he used the Snapcaster Mage to use that Shaxian Probe, because if he had just natural the Shaxian Probe, then he would know that Gerry has a Time Reinforcements in his hand, and playing that third guy would be a little bit dangerous. Gerry's definitely just going to block the Geist here.
Yeah, so into the red zone.
No doubt in a million years.
Snapcaster trades with Geist of Saint-Traft. Gerry takes, what, 5 there? Yeah, 4 from the Angel, 1 from the Stalker, and...
Yeah, I'm not sure if Harry actually has the snag right now, but I don't know. If I'm Gerry, I don't equip, because you just give you an opportunity to get value out of a snag where you could just pass the turn and play a Time Reinforcements, right? Or maybe, but I may actually be wrong about that being a Time Reinforcements in his hand. So
yeah, I didn't quite see, but Delver does pick up the sword and swings in. Harry has to chump with the Snapcaster Mage. And Gerry's Delver is being very stubborn and not flipping. He's had that out for several turns here and not been able to flip it.
Yeah, it's funny. Earlier we talked about how Gerry's Delvers are significantly more likely to flip than just about anybody else's, because the deck's playing so many sorceries and instants.
Yeah.
And we watched Gerry make it all the way to like turn 6 without flipping a Delver, where his opponent, who has a less than 1 in 3 chance of naturally flipping a Delver, does it first try every time. Yeah.
So in
Strange
with
world.
The Invisible Stalker for Harry, knocks Gerry down, and we've got a Phantasmal Image from Harry, copying Invisible Stalker, so 2 unblockable damage every turn, making it, putting Gerry on something of a clock. But if Gerry finds or already has a Timely Reinforcements, he's in reasonable shape.
He's in very strong shape if he can do that. I mean, even with the way things are going now, I mean, Harry's probably just going to have to chump block here, unless he has a Vapor Snag or a Snapcaster. Yeah, I think he's just chump blocking.
So we see a Sea Chrome Coast there. So, yeah, chump block.
That sword, too strong.
Yeah, does not want to get hit with the sword. Does not want Gerry to gain a ton of life either.
Did Gerry be getting 6 if he got hit by that sword?
Gerry could gain 6 and then timely reinforcement if he didn't chump block there.
The full 12.
Right, he'd gain 12 life in that turn, and so I think what you may have thought was timely reinforcements was actually a Blade Splicer.
And that makes sense.
But I could be wrong too. I'm having trouble seeing his hand. I see the Intangible Virtue. I don't see any other white cards in his hand. I keep tilting my head to try to see Gerry's hand better, but the screen is flat. It doesn't really work.
It's a common thing we try to do.
Yeah.
Doing commentary, you move your head so you can get a better angle at the person's hand. It doesn't work that way.
Nope. Invisible Stalker into the red zone. So Harry...
we need to broadcast in 3D.
Right, then we'd be able to see their hand a lot better. Here, hold on, I'm going to leave the booth and look at their hand at a different angle. So Delver finally flips for Gerry, and Harry has the Vapor Snag.
Yeah, Harry finds the Vapor Snag in the perfect turn.
Yeah, and I think it was pretty clear that Harry had the Vapor Snag even before the Delver flip because of the fact that he attacked with the Invisible Stalker.
Yeah.
Left nothing back to chump block, so... Alright, Gerry has a Delver in his hand. And is now down to, I guess, I think he's down to 5 now. And Lingering Souls. Lingering Souls from Gerry. Harry looks at his 1 card in hand, which I'm not sure what it is. Believe Lingering Souls is going to resolve, I think.
Oh my gosh, Harry.
Snapcaster.
Drawing very well.
Mana Leak. And Gerry's in a little bit of trouble now because unless he can, is he gonna have to just chump with a Delver? And
no, he gets a trade.
Oh, I'm sorry, trade with the Delver. But I mean,
and that's fine.
It's still.
It's not what he would love to be doing.
He would rather have some guys to be picking up that sword, and he does not have that option at this point.
Harry, is just 1 off the top though, so.
That's true, and he's got a Phantasmal Image. So Phantasmal Image.
Wow.
What is he copying?
Snapcaster for Vapor Snag.
Ooh. And is that going to put Gerry to 1 life? Snapcaster. Vapor Snag your Delver. Gerry to 4. Gerry to 1.
Gerry's at 1 now?
Yeah. And Harry has a chump blocker well, no, he doesn't. Gerry couldn't attack with the sword anyway, but with anything with the sword anyway. But wow.
Yeah, being at 1 when your opponent has an Invisible Stalker, pretty rough.
Gerry has...
Snapcaster Mage, the absolute best card Harry could have drawn that turn.
Yeah,
and the Vapor Snag that he drew the turn before also, like...
Well, he drew a Phantasmal Image, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean,
yeah.
2 turns before. And Phantasmal Image, very good too.
So we've got Phantasmal Image. I'm sorry,
It.
Gerry could not find an answer. He plays Snapcaster, flashes back Gitaxian Probe just to see if he could find something, and just nothing there. I think he drew Intangible Virtue, but I wonder if he brought in those timely reinforcements. He has 1 main and 1 in the board.